Hello and welcome back to Whiskey Wars. My name is Sean and tonight we'll be doing the best bourbon under $25. This is our second Whiskey War, so let's see which one will come out on top. Okay, so here are our bottles for this Whiskey War. We have Elijah Craig Small Batch, Wild Turkey 101, Old Forester 100 Proof, and Early Times Bottle and Bond. We've already done reviews of all these, so now let's put them head to head and see which one comes out on top. So let's get these poured, get them mixed up, so that way it's a blind tasting. All right, so this is glass A. Hopefully you can see that there. And in Class A, we're going to be putting Old Forester, and the A stands for a very old whiskey. It's been around for a long time. All right, next we have Glass B, and B will be Early Times Bottle and Bond, and the B stands for Bottle and Bond. We got two B's there. Glass C, we'll do Elijah Craig, and obviously the C stands for the Craig in Elijah Craig. And Glass D, yeah, hopefully you can see that. We got Wild Turkey 101. And the D stands for this is a dang good whiskey. Okay, so we got them poured. Now let's get them on our handy spinner mixer-upper and mix these up. All right, which one is which? Which one is which? Which one is which? Nobody knows. I don't know. You keeping track? Of course, you didn't see me put them down. And I have no idea where I placed them. So I actually have no idea already. So I think that's sufficiently mixed up. Let's nose our first glass. All right, getting banana, black pepper, some cinnamon, definitely some brown sugar in there. Maybe even a cherry. A real ripe banana. And some sourness. I have a sour oak. Yeah, pretty nice nose. Let's move on to glass 2. All right, kind of some darker notes, some kind of burnt oak, char. A lot of oak in this. Some brown sugar, but that's definitely lighter than the oaky notes. Very sour oak on this nose, even more so than glass 1. And kind of some bitter notes in there coming through. Very oaky. Maybe hints of caramel and brown sugar, but oak is definitely the main nosing note there. Glass 3. All right, cherry, lots of cherry. Cinnamon. Some caramel, but real light. These hints of brown sugar. This really reminds me of like kind of cherry preserves or like the cherry filling for a cherry pie. That's really what I'm getting on the nose here. Just a real rich cherry. Yeah, that's a nice nose, especially if you like cherry. That's a very nice nose. And glass 4. Okay, here I'm getting maybe light banana, some peppery notes, more of a white pepper. I would say some brown sugar in there, some oak, and some vanilla. Some vanilla coming through pretty strong on that. And then also maybe like a peach, something like that, or maybe tangerine. Yeah, not too bad. That nose is a little more muted than the other 3, but all in all, pretty good nose. Now let's get to tasting them. Glass 1. So before we get to the tasting notes, hit that like button. Come on, you're here. You know you like this video. Hit it. I know. Like all of us, we forget. We forget the things we like. So I'm reminding you to like the things that you like because you like it. All right, now let's get into it. Okay, getting real nice flavors on that. Getting some nice ripe banana, some brown sugar, some cinnamon, definitely some oak in there, a little spice on the back end, but a very nice sip for sure. Let's move on to our second glass here. Okay, so just as the nose kind of told us it would be, there's lots of oak notes coming through there. You're getting some sour oak, some kind of fresh oak notes, also some burnt or charred oak notes in there, and the barrel presence is definitely showing through in this bourbon. You're also getting some caramel and some brown sugar, but the oak is definitely the prominent note. So if you like that, and as we find out later, this may be the one for you. Let's move on to our third glass. Okay, so on glass 3, we're getting kind of a similar palette to glass 1, which kind of tells me what these two might be. We'll get to that later. So you're getting some banana notes, but they're a little bit lighter than glass 1. Getting a lot of brown sugar, a lot of cinnamon. And the cinnamon you primarily notice on the finish, not so much on the palate. But also getting a lot of oak, a lot more oak in this one than you do glass 1. Not as much as glass 2, but there is some oak in there as well with the banana, the brown sugar, and the caramel. But all in all, a nice sip. Let's go to our fourth glass here. Okay, so fourth glass down, and I have a pretty good idea of what that is because it just stands out from the crowd. I won't say what it is yet. But on 4, you're getting a lot of cherry, a lot of cinnamon, tons of cinnamon on the palate, and it's a real sweet cinnamon. It is spicy, but that's not mainly what you're getting. It's very reminiscent of like Red Hot's candy or Hot Tamales or Fireballs, not the terrible whiskey Fireball. I mean the Fireball candies. And just a very nice sip, especially if you like cherry and cinnamon a lot. You're really going to love what's in this glass. Now we're going to do a run through the other way real quick and then reveal what they are. So we're going to start with glass 4 again, which we just had, but we're going to go the opposite direction. Okay, so on sip 2, I would say I got even more cherry on that sip. A little bit less cinnamon, but it's still definitely very much the main flavor there. And also I got a little more oak in that sip as well. But all in all, that was a great sipping whiskey, and I'm pretty sure I know what that one is. But let's move on to glass 3 here. All right, so the oak presence was a little more prominent that time around, and it's kind of covering up the banana brown sugar for me on that sip anyway. If it's what I think it is, I like the palate of that better. Maybe my palate's just off today, hard to say. But I got a lot more oak and kind of a stringent oak on that one. But we'll see how it fares when we rank them. Let's move on to glass number 2. So if I thought the astringent oak on glass number 3 was bad, glass number 2 was worse, especially in the finish. Just very astringent oak, a lot of bitter notes, a lot of sour notes. It's kind of like if you mix the rind of an orange with some oak notes and some char. Mainly you're getting that on the finish, but still it kind of makes the whole experience unpleasant. Now let's move on to our glass number 1. All right, so today I'm getting the most kind of fruity, sweet, just pleasant notes from glasses 1 and 4. I would say glass number 3 is a close second, or third, I should say. But glass number 1 is very nice. Getting just very nice banana notes. And the thing is as a fruit, I don't really care for banana. But in whiskey, especially paired with the other notes in this, the brown sugar, the caramel, the slight oak notes in there, a little bit of char, you're getting some vanilla in there as well. All those really work very nicely together in this glass. And it makes for a very nice budget-ish whiskey. So now I'm going to do some side-by-side comparisons off camera so I don't bore you with all the tasting. And then we'll come back and rank them. Also, folks, if you're looking for more whiskey content, be sure to check out Fun with Whiskey. He's a great guy, he makes great videos, and he is fun to watch, as his name suggests. Now let's get into the results. Okay, so after my side-by-side comparisons, I got a little bit different result than I thought initially. I thought that I would be going 1, 4, 3, 2. But as you can see, it ended up being 1, 2, 4, 3. And these were very close. I mean, on any given day, I could almost swap these around. That's how close they were. Now, this is probably personal preference. I do not care that much for cherry in a bourbon. I prefer banana brown sugar, and this gives me more of that. If you like cherry more, you might prefer what's in glass number 4, which we will reveal here very shortly. But I today chose this, and I have a feeling that I choose this most days. I think the first couple sips, which these were one of the first sips of the day, all of these were the first sips of the day. I haven't had any whiskey before this. Maybe my palate hadn't woke up yet, whatever the case. But as I did side by sides, I realized that I actually prefer this just a little more than this. This, though, whatever is in glass 2, was definitely last. It was last by a large margin. Almost like it shouldn't even be in this group. These 3, I would be very happy with. Any day of the week. I could sip any of these and be very happy. But this one, the finish just really ruins it for me. So now, let's find out what they are. We'll start with number 4, which is C. And so if we remember, C is Elijah Craig. Now, there's kind of this following around Elijah Craig. You know, it's the father of bourbon, supposedly, which we kind of know historically isn't true. And it's okay. It's not a bad bourbon, but for being $25, honestly, I feel like it's higher price than it should be. I think there are some sub 20 bottles that are probably better. I would probably take Evan Williams over this most days of the week. If I did a side by side, I'm guessing I would probably take Evan Williams. And there's a video idea, so maybe that's coming in the future. We'll see. So that is our 4th place right there. Next we have D, which is Wild Turkey. Now, as I said, Wild Turkey and whatever glass 2 is were very, very close. And it's really just a palate preference. This was a very nice sipping whiskey. I don't want to take anything away from it. So it being 3rd kind of makes it seem like it's not that great, but it's very good. If these other 2 were not as great as they are, then this would be number 1. If you like cherry, you're going to love this, and especially if you like cinnamon and cherry together. So if you're passing up this bottle and you've never tried it, especially neat, this is a fantastic whiskey. So even though it's 3rd, keep that in mind. Now our 2nd place is A, which if I remember correctly, is Old Forester. And so these, which is Early Times Bottle and Bond. And really all 3 of these were very close. And now remember, folks, this is the old bottle of Early Times. So I have to preface that before I say the rest of this, because that does make a difference. So the old bottle, which is what this is, has just rich banana notes, just super rich brown sugar, nice cinnamon notes going towards the back of the palate, going into the finish. All 3 of these are fantastic. Unfortunately, I'm just not a big fan of Elijah Craig. I think it gets way too astringent and way too oaky on the back end. The palate is okay, but it's still an oak bomb. I mean, this drinks like it's 15, 18 years old. Because honestly, this guy right here, which I know is a 12 year, because it says it right on the side, right here. This doesn't have as much oak as this does. So I can't tell you what they're doing over there, but man, is this oaky. And I like oak. I like that flavor, but it's overpowering and it's astringent and it's bitter and it's sour in this, at least in this bottle. So maybe you're having a different experience, but that's what I got today. But with all that said, folks, I think all of these are at least decent bourbons, and this is the decent one of the bunch. These three are fantastic, especially for sub 25. And just remember, folks, you can never have too much good whiskey.